Hi, good evening, folks. The Sabres Chronicles, Volume 2, Seasons 4 and 5, coming up. Okay, thanks for watching, everybody. I'm just going to go right into it right away and save everybody as much time as possible because these videos are a little longer than norm. Let's go right into 1973-74. Season 4, the Sabres just came out of a first round with the Habs. You might recall the year before. Very promising year, and everything that I mentioned in the last video is we're gonna carry it on into here, and we'll see what happened. All right, so here we go. Oh, I got the board on the wrong side. Give me a sec. Okay, I want to go over a few points of last video that, like I said, I'm going to be transparent. When I've messed up, I'm going to be the first one to call myself out. I was talking about the wheel in the game, and I noticed I gave you guys the urban legend story, and I know it's urban legend, but anyway, I sometimes my sense of humor sometimes gets the better of me, and I should have went over this a little more because I looked at the video. I was like, good Lord, I didn't even fix that. We actually had numbers 1 to 6. The Canucks had numbers 1 to 6 on that wheel. We had 8 to 13. 7 was neutral. Now, a lot of people think the 7 was added on to the number. That wasn't the case, just so everybody knows. The 7 was a neutral number around the wheel. It wasn't an add-on number like, that's another urban legend you're going to hear, and I just want to not go there with that. So, I wanted to give the urban legend, the 1 to 10 and 10 to 20, because I believed it for so long. That, you know what I mean? So, my bad. Sorry about that. All right, 1970, I forgot to mention this, and it was right on the board too. Jim Watson scored our first ever goal in our history. And no, not the Jimmy Watson from the Philadelphia Flyers. It's another Jim Watson. And the third thing I forgot to mention that was not on the board, Jerry Meehan became captain in 1971. The 71-72 season, I just kind of messed up, it just wasn't on there. And also, I didn't give props to the Islanders and the Atlanta Flames coming into the NHL. They were born in the 72-73 season. So I didn't mention that either in the third year. So again, my bad. All right, let's go. Let's get into this now. 1972-73-74. We're in 73-74 now. We just came out of a very successful 72-73. We take a step back in this year. And this year, we take a step back. We go to 32, 34, and 12, which is 242 goals for, 250 against. Here's the good news again that I talked about in the last video. Our home record was 23, 10, and 6. Still very good at home. We're still a very good home team now. It's 2 consecutive years. We have basically a really good record at home. Road record, we're bad again on the road. 9, 24, and 6. We're still bad on the road. So see, we're still learning, but this season it costed us. It basically cost us a playoff spot because you weren't going to get away with that bad record forever on the road and it not cost you, right? So we finished 10 points behind the Leafs for the last playoff spot in this season. And we started the season promising. Here's the thing. We started the season promising. We started 9-5-1 our first 15 games. So you would think the year before, 10 games over, we started already after 15 games or 4 games over 500. It's looking okay. Then the red flag happens, and I'm going to tell you why it's a red flag. We lose back-to-back games to the Canucks and Seals. And sorry, Canucks and Seals, but those teams were so lousy and we were so good by that point that it made no sense, that 2-game losing streak. It just made no sense, right? And we snap out of it. We win a game or two. I'm not sure what happened. I think we won a few games also after that. But then another 5-game losing streak happens. And that kind of kills the season right there, if you look at the numbers by the end of the year. All in November this happened. So this happened early in the season. It was kind of a disappointing year because I put somewhere here, a step back, not expected. We weren't expected to take a step back like this after the promising thing we just seen in the playoffs. There was excitement going into this year, And let me get over here. All right, this will be Meehan's last year as captain. Punch is still the GM. Imlac's still the GM. Crozier's last year as coach also. And 3 notable additions. These are key additions, folks. Don Luce, Jerry Korab, Peter McNabb. All key components in 1975, if you look at the numbers. All key components. And for you old-time fans that seen these guys, you know what I'm talking about, right? French Connection. Let's go over the numbers of the French Connection this year. Gilbert Perreault, 55 games, 18 goals, 33 assists, 51 points. Rick Martin had 78 games, 52 goals. 52 goals, 36 assists, 86 points. Rennie Robert, 76 games, 21 goals, 21 goals, 44 assists, 65 points. Their numbers weren't that bad. You know what I mean? It's like, we'd probably pay guys like $10 million to get this now, which is crazy. All right, active players went from 29 to 20. Now for me, that was a good sign. In a year that was bad. That means we were getting stability with, we knew who we were looking at to go long term with. We dropped like 9 players, you know? Went from 29 to 20, the active roster, which is, you know, saddest thing of the year, of course, was Tim Horton getting killed February 21st, 1974. And he was 2 times the drinking limit. I'm not going to, you know, be honest with you guys. I'm coming up on 10 years sober. No, there's no way I'm going to hide this. He's 2 times the drinking limit, and don't drink and drive, folks. You know, don't drink and drive. God bless him. I mean, he had an amazing career, and why a career like that has to end, his life has to end this way. You know what I mean? It's just awful. And you know, it's one of those things that when we were kids, we heard he fell asleep. You know, you're older, you find out the truth. The autopsy, by the way, cleared the painkiller rumor. There was rumors for a long time he had painkiller. I don't know why this rumor persisted for a long time. It even persisted, even in the 80s I heard it. No, there was no painkillers in his system. There just wasn't. Not during the time of his death. All right. Now, I'm going to close out 73-74 because it was a crap season I want to forget about. But there's some things here I want to talk about. The Flyers break the barrier. They break the barrier. And yes, it was exciting for me as a kid even to watch this happen. To watch this happen was exciting. Because we didn't have the hatred. Sabres fans didn't have the hatred for the Flyers to the next year. But this year was exciting. And I'm telling you, everybody here in the city was cheering for them. They wanted them to beat Boston in the finals. They broke the barrier in the first expansion team in history to win the Stanley Cup. That was exciting to watch. That was really, really exciting to watch back in the day. It was. You know, Bernie Perron wins the Conn Smythe. And the reason I want to bring that up, my dad had an encounter with Bernie Perron. My dad, you know, was quite a character. You know, I lost my dad back in around, it was 2007 from cancer also. And Dad brought Bernie Perron home drunk. Now, my mom had enough. She was fed up. She's not dealing with it no more. She's like, no, I won't even repeat what she said. But she just, out you go, both of you, you know? So I never got to meet him. You know, Dad brought him home drunk, and Dad had a way with, you know, he'd meet the guys after the game over at the Mustache. It's a bar out here in Montreal that all the guys used to go and drink at after the game back in the day. You know, it was different. And Dad brought him home drunk, and Mom just lost her mind and threw them both out of the house. So I never got to meet Bernie Perron. We know what the rest was history after, you know. But that didn't happen in this year. That happened in 1972 when he was still a Leaf. That wasn't in the 73-74 season, you know. Just saying. Now, I marked Spike. I'm not going to go on about the COVID thing with the Sabres, just so you know. So get that information elsewhere. I'm not going to talk negative crap on here. And we all know what's happening. You hear one thing and then it's another. And I report one thing, then it's I'm not dealing with it. It's not happening. So you know what? When all this is cleared up, we'll know. And the boys will be playing again. And, you know, hopefully Coach will be okay very soon. You know, what else can we do, right? This is why I'm putting up these videos. So get our mind off all that crap that's happening out there right now. I'm fed up with it. I don't know about you, but I'm like, it's enough already. Seriously, honestly. Okay, let's go to the big year. Here we go. 74-75. Best Sabres team in history, in my mind, without a doubt. It's not even close, actually. If we ever have a team like this again, I hope the good Lord lets me live to see it, because this team was special. We go 49, 16, and 15. We go from 2 games under 500 to 33 over the next year. Boys came of age pretty quick, huh? 113 points. It's a crucial number. I'll go over why later. That was a crucial number. Crucial. Goals for, 354. Goals against, 240. Plus 114, folks. Plus 114. Not plus 30 like you see in today's powerhouse teams. Plus 114. 6 guys had 30 goals or more on this team. 9 guys had 20 or more. Think about it. Wouldn't you love to have that right now, eh? Jim Schoenfeld becomes our captain. Shows all the leadership skills of a beast. He was like the Ristolainen of back then, except, he just, his prominence came like almost immediately. We drafted him. He was awesome like right away, this guy. It's like, we didn't go wrong in the draft, if you notice the pattern. The Sabres just kept drafting good. You know what I mean? We just kept drafting good. Floyd Smith, first year as coach. That's an anomaly of a number. If you look at his coaching career, that this guy's coaching career was this big and his winning percentage was like this. It's strange. Coach 1 game in 71-72, which I thought was kind of weird. I'm guessing he was playing coach. I don't even know. I just found that and figured I'd add that on there. Okay, our drafts this year. Let's get back to the draft table again before the year, of course, but I always put the draft in after I talk about other stuff. First round, we draft Lee Fogelin. Solid defenseman. Might remember him. Some of you might remember him as an Oiler when he came into the NHL again from the WHA. Lee Fogelin was solid. Solid. Second round, Danny Gare. And the 11th round, and I'm going to go over this at the end later, for some of you that don't know this name. Taro Sugimoto. Legend. For you folks that don't know who he is, and you remember him, of course, right? But I'm talking to young kids that don't know this guy. Check him up. You won't believe it. Amazing. Amazing numbers. Just amazing numbers, you know? I forget what I had his, I didn't mark his, it was the, I didn't mark the team down, which is weird that he played for. But they were called the Sabres in Japanese. Well, Swords. It was a Japanese hockey team called the Swords. Check it up. You'll see what I'm saying. I'll go over him again at the end. Let's keep going. So Bromley and Crozier in nets. 276, 233. Solid. Solid. Goaltending was solid. No problem there. What did the French connection do? René Robert, 74 games, 40 goals, 60 assists, 100 points. Perreault, 68 games, 39 goals, 57 assists, 96 points. Real good bounce back season there, eh? And Rick Martin, 68 games, 52 goals, 43 assists, 95 points. Here's the thing with this that drives me nuts still to this day. 30-man games lost was the French connection in the greatest year in our history. What could have been, folks? If all these guys played. Oh, and also the season went up to 80 games. I didn't mark that here, didn't I? No, I didn't mark it. Season went from 78 games to 80 games. First year, 1974-75, there was 80 games. I miss 80-game schedules. I hate 82. It's another thing I can't stand. 84 drove me nuts. Thank God the league got at least that smart to get rid of 84. All right, so 30-man games lost. 113-point season still. Now think about it. What could have been if these guys played the full season? Ran away with first overall this year. Okay? Here's the final overall standings. This is key in our history. God, it drives me nuts still. The Flyers, first overall, 80 games, 51 wins, 18 losses, 11 ties. 113 points. There's that magic number again, 113. Sabres, 49, 16, 15, 113. The Habs, 47, 14, and 19, 113. 113, 113, 113. Three-way tie for first overall. All teams, 33 games over 500. Pretty crazy, eh? Really. Flyers goals for and against, 293 to 181, plus 112. Powerhouse. Sabres, 354 to 240, plus 114. Powerhouse. The Habs, 374 to 225, plus 149. So yeah, this is the year before Montreal's dynasty starts. And oh God, it was brutal, folks. Trust me, the 70s was brutal to be a Habs hater here in Montreal. You know, I didn't hear the end of it from my buddies in high school and everything that I was a Sabres fan, believe me. But the one thing I held over their head, I'll show you in a few minutes here. Anyway, yeah, plus 149, just unbelievable, you know. That will be the last time Montreal loses a playoff series, what you're going to see here for the next 5 years. Let's go over it. Playoffs. Quarterfinals, we draw Chicago. Game number 1, Buffalo beat Chicago 4-1. No surprise there. Game number 2, Buffalo wins 3-1. We're up 2-0, stranglehold in the series. We go back to Chicago. Chicago wins in overtime, gets back into the series. Stan Mikita scores. Buffalo has nothing to do with that. Game number 4, we beat them 6-2. Then we go home, we wrap them up 3-1 in game number 5. First time in our history we win a playoff series, folks. There it is. Very convincing too, eh? There was no doubt they were winning this series. The only game they lost was in overtime. First series win in history, Sabres win 4-1. Here's the big one. Here's the big one. For me, the big one. Probably the biggest playoff win in our history, still to this day, for me. Semifinals, we draw the Habs. Powerhouse. Powerhouse, greatest team in NHL history. Greatest team. This was the greatest team in NHL history, without a doubt. Sorry, Oilers. No. Montreal would have cleaned the boards with you guys. They just would have. They always found a way to win. This team found a way to win, and the Oilers found a way to lose in '86. That never would have happened to the Habs. No way. No chance at it. In '86, that Steve Smith thing, not happening to the Canadians when they were in their dynasty. No chance. That's why if you don't win 3 in a row, you're not a dynasty in my books. No. Somewhere that got watered down along the way. I don't get that. Where did this thing start? Where all of a sudden you win 3 cups in 9 years? Or the Jersey fans were calling themselves a dynasty. Why? I don't get it. Sometimes I just don't get the kids today. All right, game number 1. Buffalo wins in overtime. Game number 1. We just, remember, lost to these guys 2 years ago to thank you Sabres champ. Well, here it is. This is the series, you know. We're a powerhouse. We're right with these guys now. It's not like before. This is different. 6-5 Buffalo. Danny Gare scores at 4:42 in overtime. Game number 1 goes to Buffalo. Game number 2. You would expect the Habs to bounce back. Buffalo wins 4-2. 2-0. Stranglehold. You would think things are good, right? Jesus. Look at this. Game number 3 in Montreal, 7-0 Montreal. Game number 4, 8-2 Montreal. You know how I felt? The team I hate the worst in the entire world is doing this to the team I love when we have them cornered. So they outscore us 15-2 in the 2 games in Montreal. Good Lord. Anyway, we go back home. Game number 5, overtime. René Robert, 5:56. 5-4 Buffalo. That, for me, was so huge because it guaranteed a Game 7 in Buffalo. We were holding serve with home ice here. You know what I mean? I didn't think we were going to win Game 6. We did, but I didn't think we were going to. I really didn't. I thought this was going 7 for sure. Buffalo wins in Montreal 4-3. Now, if I'm not wrong, this might be the game. There was a game in this series, and I think it was the last one. I know it was in Montreal, so it had to be either Game 4 or Game 6. I'm sure it was in Montreal. I remember this. We were down 2 men and scored shorthanded. Down 2 men. Yeah, 5-on-3, and we scored on them. Tell me that's not a sign. Sabres win the series 4-2, advance to the finals. First time in our history. And it's all happening so fast, folks. From the first win, first playoff win, series win in our history, to advancing to the finals of like a few weeks later, you know. It all happened so fast. The finals. All right, here we are. Against the beloved Philadelphia Flyers. Yeah. Calm down. Calm down. Game number 1, Buffalo loses 4-1. Game number 2, Philadelphia wins, I should say. Philadelphia wins 4-1. Philadelphia wins 2-1. Folks, if it wasn't for Bernie Perron, game number 2. Bernie Perron was just subhuman. It was just incredible. You thought Bernie Perron would not be a 2-year thing, but it was. It's weird. Although they got to the final again the next year. I shouldn't say that. I'm just saying. Game number 3, the famous game we all love, right? The Fog game. 5-4 in Buffalo. Rennie Robert scores at 18:29 of overtime. Now, the thing with this was, if Philadelphia scores, we're down 3-0. It's lights out. We're not coming back again. And don't forget, they're the defending champions here, right? First overall, they got the home ice. It meant so much back then, home ice, you know? Game number 4, Buffalo wins 4-2. We hold serve again. We hold serve again. Now, if you look, what's the pattern here? Check the pattern. Home ice, 1, 2, 3-0. 4, 5, 6-0. 7-0, 8-0. Did I count that right? I think I got it wrong. 1, 2, 3, right? 4, 5, 6. You know, I got it right. 7, yeah. We're 8-0 at home on home ice in this playoffs. We go back to Philadelphia. They hammer us 5-1. They're having nothing of it, eh? They're like, no, we're the champions. You know, we're not going to go back to your home ice facing elimination. And that's exactly what they did in that game. I remember this game. We had no business even being on the ice with them. They outplayed us so bad in this game. They did. And then we come back home. Really good game. I remember it was Kelly, I believe, that scored in the first 10 seconds or something. I didn't check it. I should have. I think it was 10 seconds or 15 seconds into the third period. Kelly scores at the 15-second mark, you know? Something like that. It's fast. It was right away. And then they scored later on in the third, and the standing ovation begins again, like 73. The fans knew we're not coming back. We're not winning this, and you know, that's where I thought the "Thank You Sabres" chant was, but it was 73. So Perron wins the Conn Smythe again. Now I want to go over a few notes on this before I close it down. The New York Islanders, in their first playoff season, this is an incredible story. They play the Rangers in the first round. They lose the first. They win the first game. They lose the second. They win the third in overtime, facing elimination. It was a 2-out-of-3 mini-series. Then they play the Penguins. They're up 3-0. They win the next 4. Then they're up against the Flyers. This was the series before this. Okay, just so you know, they're up against the Flyers. They're up down 3-0. They win the next 3. So they faced elimination 8 times. 8 times. I think that's still a record. I'm pretty sure. That's still a record. Somebody came close to it recently. I can't play, but I'm pretty sure that's still a record. They win 8 straight games facing elimination. One of those bizarre things, eh? That's why they were called chokers for so long, because the expectation for them also was like the Sabres to get to that next level. And on close, I want you young guys to, I'm not going to talk too much about Sugimoto. I want you guys to check it out. So, you know, let me mark his name here clearly so you young guys can actually check him up. And you'll see what I'm saying about legend. in Buffalo. Whoops. Okay. There it is, folks. One of the greatest draft picks in Sabres history. Check it out. Look him up. Okay, with that, I'm going to close out the second installment of the Sabres Chronicles, 1974 and 1975. Thanks for watching. Brings back a lot of great memories. It really does. You know, like I still get frustrated with this. God, you know, it still bothers me. We didn't win this cup because of these man games lost. What that home ice would have meant in the finals, you know. Although who knows what would have happened, because we would have run into the Islanders in the semis. You know, there's no way to know, right? It's just it's a numbers thing. All right, I'm going to close it up there. Thanks a lot for watching. And the next installment will come just when it comes. I just did this random again today because we're going through the you-know-what thing, which I don't even want to discuss. I'm so fed up with it. Take care of yourself, folks. I'll see you soon.